Hey everyone, we've come to the end of 2024 and it's time for me to share my 10 favorite movies of the year. Without further ado, straight into the video. Number 10, Challengers. Toxic characters, a love triangle, and tennis. That sounds like the recipe of a spicy drama, and that's exactly what this film gives, a spicy drama. This film follows the story of three characters, two guys and one girl. It's a love triangle, and they are professional tennis players. This film was something I did not expect to be as exciting as it was. One of the things I liked the most about the way they told the story was because, like I said, they play tennis in this film and there's a love triangle. But they showed that love triangle from the perspective of tennis, how the tennis causes this relationship, how it affects the relationship between these characters. And it was just a kind of ingenuity that I did not expect that made me appreciate the genius of this film and the filmmaking of it. And the characters, like I mentioned earlier, they are very, very toxic characters. Like if they are separate, they could be healthy, but together they are all toxic together, and it just adds to the brilliance of the story and makes it much more interesting. The conflict of it and all the drama is just much more exciting because of how toxic the characters are. And it was just something I loved so much with this story. And the dialogue of this film was very, very interesting to hear. Very brilliant writing. Plus the music. Whew, fantastic music. And the ending of this film, whoa, I love the ending of this film so much. The ending of this film reminded me of the ending of Whiplash. If you've seen Whiplash, I know how the ending of Whiplash is like that feeling you get at the end of Whiplash. That was the same kind of feeling I got after watching this film and when the film came to an end. So it was just a very, very bold ending and I loved it. Number 9, Speak No Evil. This film follows the story of a couple that meets another couple on vacation, and this couple chooses to go and spend some time in this other couple's country, in their house, spend some time with them. And come on, that is never ever a smart choice. I mean, you know that that's recipe for disaster, and that is what we got here. And this film, there are some things that they did with this film that just made me think about the present world and how we relate. Because some people will put themselves through uncomfortable situations just because they don't want to offend someone. Like the characters in this film, they were acting like that. They were in situations that were not all right, but because they don't want to make their host feel somehow, they just kept accepting everything that they were throwing at them. And although those characters were very, very annoying with the way they were reacting to the situations, it felt very, very realistic because I've met people like that before. I have met so many people like that that have just they accept all the shit you're going to give them because they don't want to offend you. And that is just very ridiculous. And that was one thing that made me like this film and the exploration of it. Plus, James McAvoy plays like the main character in this film, and his performance in this film was just very, very wild and unsettling. He just had this bold presence and this magnetic charisma to him that was just so interesting to watch. At the same time, it was just so unsettling. His performance in this film was fantastic. And the way the story is told, they take their time to build and build until everything just gets so tense and finally explodes. And when this film explodes, whew, it was something. Number 8, Afamefuna and One Boy Story. Technically, this one came out December last year, but I saw it this year, and I love this movie so much. So I just had to put it on this list. Don't fault me. That was just how much I love this film. This film was honestly, I don't have the words. It was a fantastic film that explores the Igbo culture. If you're a Nigerian, I'm sure you'd have been seeing some aspects of the Igbo culture in real life, and you don't really understand all the concepts or what is going on there. But when you see this film and you see how the story is told in this film, and you see how those characters are living their life, and you see the Igbo culture, it just gives you so much appreciation for that culture and how beautiful it is. Honestly, I've just always been on the sidelines looking at all the tribes in our country. I didn't know anything about them until I saw this movie. I'm sure I still don't know everything about the Igbo culture, but what this film showed me about the Igbo culture was so, so beautiful, and I loved it. And the characters in this film were very, very realistic characters that I'm sure you have seen somewhere in your life before. Kanayo is in this film, and the role he plays in this film is a role that I have never seen him play before. That was another thing that added another layer of enjoyment to this film, and everything that just came together with it. It just makes this film so, so good. And even though it came out last year, I just have to put it on this list because I saw it this year and it was just too good to leave out of this list. Number 7, Late Night with the Devil. This one follows the story of a TV program that brings a girl that is possessed on the show to be interviewed and talk to the devil. Basically, that's what this film is. And if you're listening to it, that concept sounds very, very ridiculous. Like, why would you invite the devil to have an interview with you? Why would you do something like this? It makes sense because the characters involved in this thing, like the main character, he's a very desperate person. He has gotten to the place where he has to nail his show, he's going to lose his show. So he resorts to something as extreme as this, and like you can assume, chaos ensues. One thing I like about this film is that this film is an horror film, but it's not like your traditional horror film. In traditional horror films, they always use some particular kind of things that makes you know that okay, you're watching a horror film, like jump scares, and I can't remember all the elements that they use, but there are some elements that you always see in a horror film that is meant to scare you. But you know this film is not trying to scare you. They are not trying to scare you. They just want you to feel uneasy, and you just keep seeing things that just makes you feel no. I'm not feeling good about everything that is going on here. They are not scaring you, but you are just feeling so uncomfortable, unsettled with all the things that you are seeing unfold. And that's something I just really, really loved with this film because honestly, I don't really like horror films. I'm not the biggest fan of horror films, but this one had something that did not feel like every other horror films. So I loved it so much, and I loved how it was explored and how the story was told. If you had told me that I'll enjoy an horror film as much as I enjoy this one, I would have said it's a lie. But man, I freaking enjoyed this movie. Number six, The Book of Clarence. This film is directed by James Samuel. And if you don't know James Samuel is the director of The Other Day 4 that came out in 2021. And The Other Day 4 was a fantastic movie that I enjoyed. I'm sure if you've seen The Other Day 4, you agree that that film was a fantastic film. So when I saw the director of The Other Day 4 is making another film centered around black people and Jesus Christ, like it was a no-brainer for me. I had to see this film. And fortunately, this film was one of the first films that came out this year. I saw it and whoo! It was an experience. I loved it so much. I love the liberties that the director took to tell his story. The way the story is told, you can tell that the filmmaker, the director, is someone that cares so much about this topic of Christianity and Jesus and all these things surrounding it. You know he cares about it because of how the story is told. And that's one thing that I really appreciated because before this film came out, people were like, this film is blasphemous and all that stuff. But when I saw this film, I could see the amount of love and care and respect that the director had for this whole subject. And so something that I immediately liked with this film. The main character, Lawrence, is very, very relatable. At some point in everyone's lives, they would have had the same kind of elements that were in Lawrence. The doubts he was having about religion and all the questions and everything that was going through at that moment. Everybody at some point would have experienced what Clarence experienced, and it just made him very, very interesting and relatable character. Plus the music, I mean, you know that this guy knows how to use music in his films, and the music was very, very good. The dialogue as well, this film was fantastic. Number five, Monkey Man. This film is directed by Dev Patel, a first-time director. It always amazes me when a first-time director can direct a film and just outdo himself. It just makes me feel good and happy for a reason I cannot explain. It reminds me of Creed 3 that came out last year, was it? Yeah, I think Creed 3 came out last year. And it was directed by Michael B. Jordan. That was the first film he will ever direct also. And the way that film was directed was brilliant. So it just made me love the idea of first-time directors directing a movie. And with that mentality in mind, I went into this film to see what this man did, Dev Patel. And man, he outdid himself. The fact that he was directing this film and also starring in it, not just starring in it and delivering dialogues, you have to star in it and fight. It was so good. I respect Dev Patel so much more because of his performance in this film and his direction of this film. This film is an action film, and the action elements of this film were very, very good. And I remember seeing the trailer of this film, and I was so excited to see it. And when I even saw the film blew my mind much more than the trailer did, and I appreciated that so much. The way the character fights, he fights in a very unconventional way. Like it was so good to see. I love that this guy could just go crazy with all the characters and just spray blood, kill people. The way it explores the mythology and the culture of this Monkey Man character, it was done in a way that just added another level of intrigue and brilliance to this whole story. Number four, Saturday Night. This one follows the story of the production of the very first episode of Saturday Night Live. I think some of the films I enjoyed the most this year, I did not have much expectations for them, but they blew my mind completely. And that was the same case with this film. I did not have expectations for it, but because I know about the Saturday Night Live show, I decided to watch this film and it blew my mind. It was so good. It was just very, 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 very chaotic, like beautiful chaos. That was how this film felt like. The way these characters were scrambling to get this show ready to go on air. It was something that was just beautiful to see. Seeing how they were having issues with themselves, clashing heads, butting horns, just having issues all themselves was something that was so fun to see. And most of these characters are real life characters, but they are also comedians. So seeing these comedians having back and forth with each other was something that was just Very, very entertaining to watch. Hearing different jokes and just seeing the clashes and the conflicts and the bruised egos that were just going around. It was just so, so fun to see. And the performances from all the actors, all these actors were playing real people. I don't know all of the real people that they were playing, but I think I knew about two or three of them. And I remember seeing this person's performance and I was like, whoa, that is how this guy was. Like, it was just something that made me get into the story more. The way these actors embodied these real people, it was done so, so well, and the performances were so good. Number three, Gladiator 2. This one was a surprise. Like, I think I've said that so many times in this video. But honestly, this one was a surprise because when I watched the first Gladiator movie, it did not blow me away. Like, it was interesting to watch, yes, but I didn't really feel it like that. It was just like, okay, any other movie I've seen. And because I did not really care for the story so much, I did not think this one would have anything more to offer me. But I just thought I should see this movie. And I saw it, and honestly, I love this one so much more than I love the first one. Like, I did not really like the first one. I watched it, I enjoyed it to some extent, but it didn't blow me away. But this one, it blew me away. I loved every single thing. Maybe not every single thing, but I loved a lot of things that was done with this film. From the action sequences that were so, so violent and so bold. Bold. The director held nothing back and just delved into this film and did some very, very crazy, crazy action sequences that blew my mind. Plus the performances from the actors, Denzel Washington, Paul Mescal, Audrey Pascal, every one of them, especially Denzel Washington and Paul Mescal, two of them delivered very, very fantastic performance. Denzel Washington in particular, it just felt like Denzel Washington was enjoying himself so much on the set of this film. And because of how much he was enjoying himself, it made this film so, so good for me. And like, I love this film so much. As much as the action sequences were in this film, and there were so many action sequences, there are still some quiet moments of character development where the characters have exchanges with themselves and you just see and understand these characters more. Like, it was done so, so well, and I really, really enjoyed Gladiator 2. Number two, Conclave. Honestly, this film could have been my number one pick, but I loved my number one pick so much that it had to be number one. But this film, it could have easily been number one. And this film was a fantastic film. I would have never thought I would enjoy a film about the election of a new pope as much as I enjoyed this film. Honestly, as I'm even saying that concept, it sounds boring in my mind. But man, this film was so interesting. And it is drama. I love drama so much because I'm sure you can tell I'm a drama king. I love drama so much, and the drama of this film was so good, and especially the fact that these people that are taking part in all this drama that is happening are spiritual people, people that are at the top of the spiritual ladder, basically. Seeing these characters being human and being conniving and plotting and scheming and just trying everything they can to get the title of the Pope. So something that was so interesting to watch, so intriguing, and humanized the characters and people that are actually in that position in real life. The dialogue in this film was some very, very profound, powerful dialogue. Like, it blew my mind the kind of things that I heard the characters say in this film. Till today, those dialogues are still stuck in my head, and I just keep playing it over and over in my mind, and just fills me with so much. Honestly, I don't know the feeling I feel, but I just feel so passionate. Maybe that's the best word. Just so passionate about how this story was told and the elements, the dialogue, everything that came together with it was done so well. And the score, I can't talk about this film without talking about the score. Or the score was something that was so subtle but so powerful. It's a score that you probably just hear one or two notes and it amplifies the scene so much. When they say less is more, this film made me understand that. The score had that feeling of less is more, and the whole film as well. And honestly, this film, best film I've seen this year. But it's not the best film I've seen this year. Before I say number one, here are some honorable mentions. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Boy Kills World, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Twisters, Hijack, 1971. And my favorite movie of this year, 2024. Drum roll, bada 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 bada. The Wild Robot. Whoa, The Wild Robot. If you had told me my favorite movie of the year would be a movie about a robot that is stranded in the forest and makes friends with animals, I would have said, what are you smoking? What are you smoking? But man, I was the one smoking because this film was fantastic. No words. I'm kidding. I have words, but it's just a lot of things worked with this film that I did not see coming. The story of it was so brilliant. Watching this robot taking care of this goose, so something that was just so powerful. If people that have children watch this film, I can imagine the kind of emotions and kind of feelings that they'll be feeling about this whole story. I don't have kids, but I know the amount of emotions I felt while watching this film. It was something that was done extremely well. The story was well told. The characters were interesting, endearing characters. The writing was very good. The score was epic. The voice performances stellar, and the comedy of it was so charming. Honestly, thinking about this film now is just flooding me with so much emotions. That was how much I enjoyed this film. If you've not seen The Wild Robots, please do yourself a favor and check this film out. It is genius. So, those are my favorite movie of the year 2024. What were your favorite movies of this year? Comment below and let me know. If you watch this video up until now, please like, share my video, and follow me for more contents like this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers.